Hello everybody, welcome to another series with Cafecito and Mr. Miami Real Estate. We're here again with Carolyn Martinez.
Hello.
If you guys have not watched our videos before, she is the owner of C&C Title. She's been doing this for the last 25 years,
Yes.
give or take. So congratulations again, because
Thank you.
most people do not make it in this business that long. So today we're actually here to discuss money, basically, which is the customary closing costs for buyers and sellers. It's something that everybody wants to know about, what people freak out about. So we are actually splitting the video up into two segments for you guys. One is specifically for the buyers and one is for the sellers. You could scroll down into the comments and skip to whichever part applies to you if you do not want to watch the entire video. So let's get started.
Okay.
How are closing costs determined exactly?
Closing costs are determined by the contract.
Okay.
So the contract lets you know what the seller pays, the buyer pays, what they're responsible for.
Perfect. And today, this is very important for you guys. We're here to discuss primarily Miami-Dade and Broward County, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So it's very important also for you guys to know that while these are the customary fees in a contract, when you have a good real estate advisor, agent, broker by your side, this is something that is completely negotiable, correct?
Correct, yes.
There you go. Very important details, guys. So let's start, like we said, with the buyer's closing costs. What does this typically consist of?
The buyer's closing costs consist of inspections,
Mhm.
appraisal, title, recording, survey. That's primarily what the buyers would pay.
Perfect. So let's go into that a little bit.
Okay.
The appraisal is obviously the valuation of the property, typically something ordered by the lender, and the inspections is just for you guys as
The buyers.
as the buyers. So those are the two costs that you guys usually pay up front, and the rest would be paid at the time of closing.
Correct.
Perfect. What exactly is title? I know we did a video, but
Yeah. So
What
title is a review of the history of the property. So we make sure that everything is clear, that there's no liens, there's no dead person heir that might come up and say, "Oh, I own the property instead." It's something like that, so that's title.
perfect. And then the survey?
The survey is the actual blueprint of the property. So it's the boundaries, what you own from this line to this line, this point to this point.
So basically the exterior of the property, the land.
The exterior of the property,
The
correct.
land. Perfect. And then you said recording fees.
Recording fees. So either whether you're buying all cash or with a mortgage, you will have something to record, be it the deed or the mortgage itself. So you're going to have intangible taxes, documentary stamps, things like that to read.
Perfect. And then obviously when they're financing, they have things, and this is where people usually get confused at, the prepaids and the escrows. What
Okay.
is that exactly?
So prepaids are insurance. You have to prepay your insurance, and you have to also escrow your insurance and your taxes. So you're going to create an escrow account with the lender when you purchase, and that's always going to be your money. It's just going to be to constantly pay your taxes and your insurances every year.
Correct. Perfect. And then guys, just so you know, to be specific, it is property taxes that we're talking
Property
about.
taxes are, yes.
So also lender fees, obviously. Some lenders charge points, whatever it may be.
Right, so there's
Those
credit
fees-
report, tax service fee, what other things do they charge? Processing, underwriting, things like
Yeah.
that.
So and each lender is obviously different, so that's a
Yes.
conversation that you would want to have with them about what that can be. So obviously you mentioned the cash buyer, so we started with financing. Is there a difference in closing costs for a cash buyer? Is it less? Is it more?
It's typically less because you don't have
Okay.
the lender fees. So
Okay.
you would only have title recording if you want a survey, which we highly recommend. And that would be it for all cash.
Perfect. And obviously they wouldn't have the prepaid to the escrows either
No.
because there's no mortgage for them to stick
No.
that into.
Correct.
Perfect. So that goes into what the customary buying closing costs are. Let's get into now what seller's closing costs are.
Okay.
So again, guys, very important, in case you didn't watch the first half of the video, this is for Miami-Dade and Broward specifically, and everything is negotiable. So if you guys have a good real estate advisor on your side, you can negotiate these fees on the contract. So what exactly is a seller responsible for paying?
So a seller's responsible for the commission on the contract, and then they would be responsible for their own settlement fee, which would entail a title search, a lien search. If there's an association, there would be an estoppel fee, which
Okay.
means what the association charges to let us know what's due on the association.
Perfect.
Documentary stamps on the sale, so
Okay.
that's the higher fee that the seller would have to pay. And anything they owe. So if they owe association dues, taxes, things like that, they would also have
Which
to
would
pay
be the
that.
prorations.
And then they would also owe prorations to the buyer, which would be from the first of the year to the date of closing.
Perfect. And then settlement charge?
The settlement charge is what the three things that I mentioned that roll up into the settlement charge, which would be the closing fee, the title search, and the lien search.
Perfect. And then let's go into, obviously this is something that happens, especially common in our market in South Florida. What if there's a title problem, something that needs to be fixed and paid for? Whose responsibility would that be on?
That would be on the seller. So the contract dictates, it says that the seller has to cure title, meaning they have to fix the title problem, and that falls on the seller. Unless for some reason it says on the contract, again, like you said,
It's
everything's negotiable, but I mean, standard industry is seller.
Perfect. Okay. And then we've gone into a lot of what the things that the closing costs are, but we're not really talking about numbers here. It's very difficult to do that. So let's say somebody's out looking for a home and they find a home that they love, or somebody's interested in selling their property. Is there a way that they can get an estimate of what all of these charges will be?
Absolutely.
Whether it's a buyer or seller?
Yes. So what they would do is get a hold of their wonderful realtor, and then the realtor would get a hold of us, and we would do an estimate, which would be our part of it, the title costs and the recording. So if it's all cash, great, it ends there, and that's your estimate. Perfect. We email it to you, etc. If you have a lender, then we send it to the lender, and they do the loan estimate for the client.
Perfect. And let's make it fun. I know there's some for sale by owners out there. So what about a for sale by owner that's not using a realtor and they want to know what their closing costs are? They want to have somebody do their seller documents, for example. Can they just come and contact you directly?
Yes.
Is that something you can help them with?
Yes, we can also do seller's documents for the sellers. We have an in-house attorney, so we are able to prepare seller documents for the sellers if they don't want to have an attorney, or they don't, whatever it is. Yes.
Perfect. So for all my for sale by owners out there, you can get some help directly, and if you're not having luck selling the house, you can call me.
There you go.
And I mean, that's pretty much everything that we have. I mean, for all my Miami and Broward people, I hope you guys learned a lot today. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to me or Carolyn directly, and you can also drop in any questions you might have in the comments, and we can also include them in a future video. Like always, make sure that you subscribe to our videos, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.